Hi, I'm Alex from Wilkinson Cameras, and you should already know me by now, but you might not know Mehdia, who works at Canon. She is a product specialist, and today she's here to talk to us about the brand new EOS R6 Mark II. Canon assure us that they've taken all the best bits of the R6, they've listened to feedback, they've seen what people love about it, and they've made them better. So specs wise, you might look at this and think, there's not that many new changes, there's not that many massive features that are standing out, but actually they've taken all the best bits of the R6 and improved them, and what's not to love about that? So Mehdia, what is new about the R6, what's improved, and why might people want to buy this instead of another camera, or why might they want to upgrade their existing R6?
So as you mentioned, with the R6 Mark II, we've taken everything from the feedback, every single feature that everyone said how much they've loved it, and we try to, as I said, maintain it or improve on it. And once hopefully we cover everything new, you'll see what I mean. So starting with resolution, the R6 is 20 million pixels. The new camera, the R6 Mark II, is 24 million pixels. So that's a 20% increase in resolution. But the great thing about that is, because we know how much the Canon users love the low light performance from the R6, we've actually maintained it despite the increase in resolution, which is great. So you can still use this new camera in weddings, in challenging lighting situations. The camera can still focus down to -6.5, so there is no compromise with that. Autofocus, some might say that it is great on the R6, but then again, we've improved on that. So the R6 Mark II does inherit the autofocus from the R3, which, as we know, it is obviously our top of the range camera in the EOS R system. So you're getting that fast, reliable autofocus. We've added subject detection for horses, aircrafts, and trains. You can also now customize or tell the camera basically to prioritize a left eye or a right eye, for example, for those that shoot portraits. You can track in every single AF mode, and with the subject detection, because now obviously we've added more, you can set it on automatic and let the camera decide for you. So one basically less of a headache.
So if you would choose a subject.
Yeah, so previously you would choose people, animals, a vehicle. You can now actually set it on automatic and let the camera actually do the work for you.
Oh, okay, so I had not realised that when I was looking through the specs earlier.
So you can do that, or you can assign a button to switch between off, automatic, or a specific subject. You can reduce the number of subjects that you want the camera to detect. If you're in the middle of the field and you're only expecting to see animals, you can remove the vehicle, so the camera is not going to be actually looking for that.
So if I was taking pictures of Liv, for example, but then I switched to pictures of my cats, it would automatically change that.
Yeah.
But if I was taking a picture of a horse rider on a horse, if I set that to horse, I'd only get the horse in there, and it will prioritize the horse. It will still show you the face, because it will pick up the face, and it will be up to you again to assign a button to actually move from the horse to that person. This is one of, as I said, all these kind of predictive autofocus, and then showing you, yes, you've got this subject in focus, but there is this other subject that you might want to consider. So it's actually kind of guiding you, and we've seen this with the R3. Yeah, which is absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Another feature that has come from the R3 is the OVF Simulation.
Yeah, so the optical viewfinder simulation, that is more for those that actually love the look or the finish that they get looking through the viewfinder on their digital SLRs in comparison to the mirrorless.
So a lot of people, when they're switching from DSLR to mirrorless, especially die-hard DSLR users, sometimes they find it a bit difficult to get used to the EVF. The EVF in this camera is really impressive, so it doesn't concern me at all. It looks great, it doesn't look like an EVF. But Canon in the R3 brought in this function where you can make it look like an optical viewfinder, so people that are used to that still have the kind of workflow that they're used to with a DSLR, and it makes switching easier, but you still get all the benefits of a mirrorless camera. It's quite It's not often used, is it? But it's a nice feature.
It is. I mean, it's the feature is there. It's disabled by default, so you can enable it if you want to. And as I said, it simulates the look that you would get in that scene from an optical viewfinder using the HDR technology. So it basically uses wider dynamic range to give you that more natural look.
Cool.
Also have the speed. So
okay.
Again,
Let's go for it.
the R6 is fast at 20 frames per second. R6 Mark II can actually give you up to 40 frames per second, which is, I think, is crazy. And you can freeze pretty much every single subject that you can think of. So you can shoot at 40 frames per second, you can shoot at 20 if you think 40 is too much, or you can even go down to 5 frames per second, and that's all in the electronic shutter.
And that's all with tracking AF as well, which we've actually already tested, and it works. It's very, very impressive. A new feature to the R6 II, something that we've previously seen in the EOS R5C, is a switch between stills and video mode. So what's made you bring that to the R6 II?
On the R6, the video is on the mode dial, meaning if you want to shoot video, you turn it to mode dial, and then you have either automatic or manual. Whereas with having the switch this side, the minute the camera is on video, you actually open up the whole mode dial to video. So you can do video in manual, you can do video in fully automatic, you can do video in scene mode. So there are a number of scenes, all automatic, but still in video, even like creative filters that are actually creative filters that you can use in video. But for me, I think the main things are the custom settings. So you open up C1, C2 and C3 to basically presets on the video side that you might want to use if you film in indoors and outdoors as well. So you can set the camera for indoors and then set it for outdoors, and then literally it's a matter of just turning the dial and switching between C1 and C2.
So for content creators, hybrid shooters, wedding photographers who now quite commonly do a mixture of stills and video, you can have everything set up for one and everything set up for another without as much fiddling around between them. So you can switch very seamlessly between stills and video, which we've been doing today, and it's been, yeah, it's brilliant. It is a feature we've seen on the R5C, but that's quite a specialist camera. It's great to see that trickle down to a more prosumer kind of level in the R6 II, and I think that would be really popular. It also means that if you're not into video, you can pretty much just ignore it.
Or basically take advantage of the presets on the video side, because as I said, we have all those presets for photo.
Yeah.
But if you kind of scared about getting the video settings wrong, you can start with all the presets first.
Yeah.
They can be your starting point, and then slowly dive into the manual.
That's really clever actually, because I think a lot of people are a bit scared of video sometimes. So that's really useful. You've also changed the on-off button?
So the on and off was this side, and because obviously we wanted the addition of this photo video switch, we've moved it to that side. Plus you can actually, it means if you're holding the camera with one hand, you can basically turn the camera on, lock and off, with a single operation basically.
Any other new features that we should know about?
So on the top we have a new multifunction shoe. So we've seen that with the R3, we've seen it also on the R7 and the R10. So this means this new shoe, because of the communication, because you're going from 5 pins to 21 pins. So there is a lot of communication, and then the fact that it can power some of the accessories. So like there is an external Canon mic that can easily attach to this, and it saves you having to use the cables as well.
Yeah.
But for those creating video and you want XLR adapter to use XLRs, there is the Tascam XLR adapter that you can actually use on this as well.
So that both powers and communicates with the camera, which again is great for content creators or on-the-go kind of shooting, much easier. We have also improved on the battery life. So even though this camera takes the same battery as the R6, so the LPE6NH, because of the improvement on the processing power, on the still side you get close to about 300 more shots from a single charge. So you're looking, using the screen, going from about 600 close to about 900 to 1,000 shots, which is a massive difference. That is absolutely brilliant. I think a lot of people will be very, very pleased with that. Yes, so obviously we've got a longer battery life, so you can shoot for a lot longer. And I know that they have removed the record limit on this from 30 minutes or 29 minutes and 59 seconds. Now, obviously that's not going to be unlimited, is it?
It depends on what resolution you choose. So if you want to record 4K 30, knowing that both the 4K 30 and the 4K 60 is oversampled from the 6K sensor, so there is a lot of data that the camera is dealing with. So 4K 30 is not limited by heat. It will be more limited by the storage.
Yeah.
As we know, 4K,
yeah.
be it 30 or 60, the file size will still be big. Or basically the battery, depending on how you're powering the camera, if you're recording for hours. But you're looking at close to about up to 6 hours, really. If you're recording 4K 60, that's where the when you're getting probably close to the limit will be around 40-50 minutes from the test we've done. You might be able to record longer because internally you have the IPV as well as IPB lights, so where you're basically lowering the bit rate. Because one of the things that our cameras do compared to others is they do record a lot more data, so the bit rate is significantly higher. But yeah, you do have the option depending on how long you're recording for. Even high frame rate, so even when you're recording at 180 frames per second, you can still record for around an hour before you hit that limit, which is
it's quite impressive.
Focus bracketing or focus stacking, as loads of people call it. We've had it now on a number of cameras, but usually you take those images and put them in a software, and the camera will does the put them together for you, making sure they're actually adjusted right. With the new thing with this is actually the depth composition that you can actually do in camera, and then you can process basically as many images that you've taken in the focus bracketing, process them and put them together in camera, kind of saving you time and less of a need of you to actually having to take that memory card out or transfer the images wirelessly, then upload them into or open them with the software, be it the Canon DPP or Photoshop or Lightroom, then use that.
Perfect. And who is the R6 II aimed at? Who's going to buy this camera? Why should they buy it? And should they upgrade from their R6?
It will be, upgrade will be for those that actually feel the need to get if they need 40 frames per second, if they need the added resolution, depending on if they're printing, if they tend to crop quite a lot, or on the video capability. We feel the content creators, especially those focusing on video content, will be going for this camera because you're getting a lot of the video features. You can record for longer compared to the R6, and you're not compromising on the stills capabilities of the camera. But we're also looking at those semi-professionals. Even with the R6, it was aimed at semi-professionals, those technical enthusiasts, so those actually after the latest technologies. But there are loads of professionals out there using it. And I presume it's going to be the same thing with this one. So there are going to be loads of wedding photographers, portraits, action, because 40 frames per second, it can be a sports camera, it can be a wildlife camera.
It's a lot.
So even though we're saying content creators and, as I said, some of the semi-professionals, I can see it widely used both on the photo and the video side.
And it does come kitted with two different lens options as well, one of which is the 24-105 f4L lens, and that's not this. That's a weather sealed lens. The body is weather sealed.
Yeah. So the weather sealing is the same as the R6,
and it's professionally built. Like, it's not aimed squarely at professionals, but it feels great, and it is a professional. It can withstand professional use.
There will be loads of customers out there, users out there, that they're probably still using the 6D Mark I, for example, so digital SLRs, or the 5D 2, 3. So this could be a great upgrade for them. And even for those probably using like 70D, 80D, and then looking for the next upgrade, again, this will be a great choice.
Well, we're very impressed with it. We have been putting it to the test all day. We're going to go and put it back to the test now, and then we'll share lots of results with you as well. But is there anything that we've missed, Mehdia?
I think if we were to do side by side on every single element, there are so many other improvements. I mean, even like the joystick, for example, it does have a different finish, and I think unless you've tested the joystick on the R6 Mark II and compare it to the feel and the finish on the one, there was nothing wrong with the finish on the one, but you actually use it and you think, oh, okay, this actually feels much nicer. Plus, you can customize it to do other things as well. And we've added more features and functions that you can actually customize to the buttons.
Okay, so not just big overhauls, but small details as well, which make this quite a lot better than the R6, which was already a very, very good camera.
Exciting product.
Yeah, definitely. And there's also a lens that's come out today that is absolutely beautiful, which we can't show you because it's not a production model, but it's an RF 135mm f1.8. It's replacing the EF 135mm f2, both L lenses. And I can't wait to try that. But
even me personally, I'm looking forward to that because I own the EF one and I've loved it. But yeah, that is exciting because I didn't think that we could improve on that EF one. As I said, the EF version has been around for 26 years and there are loads of professionals out there still using it and still loving the quality they get with it. And the fact that we've managed to actually improve on that with the new RF 135 f1.8 is going to be amazing. Plus you have the image stabilizer built into the lens as well. On top of the in-body IS.
We've not mentioned the improved IS on this one actually. We're now up to 8 stops.
So the camera benefits from a revised or refined 5-axis image stabilizer, yes, and that will give you up to 8 stops. There isn't any other camera in the market within the same price range that can offer the same in-body IS, and even compared to the R6, if you were to compare them again side by side, you will see a difference.
Yeah.
Especially again, going back to those content creators shooting video, walking and filming, it will make a massive difference. Low light shooting stills as well, handheld. The IBIS or the in-body IS works on its own, works well with lenses that have optical IS, but also works with lenses that don't have it, like 2870 for example, doesn't have IS, but using it on the R6 Mark II, you're still getting 8 stops.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So it's not a combination?
No. The combination would bring it up as well to 8 depending on the lens, but as I said, even lenses without IS, you still see a massive improvement.
We've been shooting video and stills today, handheld, and the IS is quite remarkable in video actually. It's really nice. We also tried it with the digital IS, which you can have for video mode as well, which further enhances it, where you will get a slight crop on your screen there. So we'll show you some examples of that. I think that's everything.
That is, I mean, unless for those interested more on the video side, you can record as well as the internal recording capabilities of 4K and the full HD up to 180. You can record externally because, as we said, recording high resolution means more space.
Yeah.
You do have the option to record externally to the Atmos, and you can record 6K RAW up to 60. And that means you don't have to worry about storage.
Right, well thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to get back to testing it again, and yeah, thank you.